Sourdough bread starts with a lively starter. This starter is the soul of your sourdough bread, a living, breathing entity that requires care and attention. It's a mixture of flour and water that, when left to ferment, becomes a bubbling, active culture teeming with wild yeast and beneficial bacteria. These microorganisms are naturally present in the environment and are captured in the starter, creating a unique flavor profile that is distinct to your kitchen. This active mixture of flour and water is filled with wild yeast and bacteria. The wild yeast is responsible for the rise of the bread, while the bacteria contribute to the tangy flavor that sourdough is known for. The process of fermentation not only helps the bread rise, but also breaks down the gluten, making it easier to digest. This is why many people who are sensitive to gluten find sourdough bread more tolerable. These microorganisms are what give sourdough its distinct, tangy flavor. The longer you ferment the dough, the more pronounced the tanginess becomes. This is because the bacteria produce lactic acid and acetic acid during fermentation, which are the compounds responsible for the sour taste. The balance of these acids can be adjusted by varying the fermentation time and temperature, allowing you to customize the flavor of your bread. To begin, take 60 grams of your sourdough starter from the refrigerator. It's important to use a kitchen scale for accuracy, as the balance of ingredients is crucial for a successful starter. If your starter has been in the fridge for a while, it might have a layer of liquid on top known as hooch. This is normal and can be stirred back in or poured off, depending on your preference. Add 60 grams of lukewarm water. The temperature of the water is important. It should be around room temperature to encourage the yeast and bacteria to become active. Cold water can slow down the fermentation process, while hot water can kill the microorganisms. Lukewarm water provides the perfect environment for the starter to thrive. And 60 grams of bread flour to the starter. Mix well, use a spoon or your hands to combine the ingredients until there are no dry spots of flour. The consistency should be like a thick batter. This mixture is now your fed starter, and it needs time to ferment and become active again. The feeding process replenishes the nutrients that the yeast and bacteria need to grow and multiply. Cover the container loosely and let it sit at room temperature. This allows the starter to breathe and prevents any contaminants from getting in. A loose cover also helps to maintain the right humidity level, which is important for the fermentation process. You can use a cloth, a paper towel, or a lid that is not tightly sealed. The ideal temperature is around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, or 21 to 24 degrees Celsius. This temperature range is optimal for the growth of the yeast and bacteria. If your kitchen is cooler, you can place the starter in a warm spot, like near a radiator or in an oven with the light on. If it's too warm, the fermentation process can speed up too much, leading to over-fermentation. In about 4 to 6 hours, your starter should be bubbly and doubled in size. This indicates that the yeast and bacteria are active and have produced enough gas to leaven the bread. The starter should have a pleasant, slightly tangy smell. If it smells off or has mold, it's best to discard it and start over. A healthy starter is the key to making delicious sourdough bread. This means it's ready to use. You can now incorporate it into your bread recipe, knowing that it will provide the rise and flavor that makes sourdough so special. Remember, maintaining your starter is an ongoing process. Regular feedings and proper storage will keep it healthy and ready for your next baking adventure. Happy baking! In a large bowl, combine 360 grams of bread flour with 90 grams of whole wheat flour. Pour in 360 grams of lukewarm water. Mix with your hands until all the flour is hydrated. This mixture is now called the dough. Cover the bowl and let it rest for 1 to 2 hours. This rest period is called Autolyse. Autolyse helps the flour absorb the water and develop gluten. Gluten is what gives the bread its structure and chewiness. Once your starter is bubbly and doubled, it's time to add it to the dough. Add 180 grams of the active starter to the bowl of dough. Using your hands, gently mix the starter into the dough. Knead the dough for about 5 minutes. Kneading helps to further develop the gluten. Cover the bowl and let the dough rest for 30 minutes. This marks the beginning of the first rise, or bulk fermentation. After the 30-minute rest, add 9 grams of salt to the dough. Salt is essential for flavor and controlling the fermentation process. If desired, add 25 grams of olive oil, 25 grams of honey, and 25 grams of poppy seeds for extra flavor and texture. Knead the dough for another 5 minutes. This helps to evenly distribute the salt and other ingredients. It also strengthens the gluten structure. Cover the bowl and let the dough rest for another 30 to 40 minutes. Section 5. Building strength, coil folds, and rest. During the next 2 to 3 hours, you'll perform a series of coil folds. Coil folds help to further develop the gluten and create a strong dough. To perform a coil fold, gently lift and stretch one side of the dough, fold it over the middle. Repeat with the other sides. Rotate the bowl and repeat the process. Perform 3 sets of coil folds with 30 to 40 minute intervals between each set. After the final coil fold, let the dough rest for another 30 to 40 minutes. Section 6. Shaping and proofing. Overnight magic. Lightly flour your work surface. Gently transfer the dough onto the floured surface. Shape the dough into a round or oblong loaf. To shape, gently pull the dough edges towards the center, creating surface tension. Place the shaped loaf seam side up in a proofing basket lined with a floured cloth. Cover the basket and refrigerate overnight. This slow, cold fermentation enhances the flavor and texture of the bread. Section 7. Baking day, preheating and scoring. Preheat your oven to 480 degrees Fahrenheit or 250 degrees Celsius with a cast iron Dutch oven inside for at least 40 minutes. Carefully remove the hot Dutch oven from the oven. Remove the dough from the refrigerator. Flip the dough onto a piece of parchment paper. If desired, score the surface of the dough with a sharp knife or razor blade. Scoring allows the bread to expand during baking. Section 8. The final bake. Achieving a golden crust. This is the moment where all your hard work and patience come to fruition. The golden crust is not just a visual delight, but also a testament to the perfect bake. Let's dive into the steps to achieve that perfect golden crust. Carefully lower the dough still on the parchment paper into the preheated Dutch oven. The parchment paper helps in transferring the dough without deflating it, ensuring that the dough retains its shape and structure. The Dutch oven, preheated to the right temperature, creates a steamy environment that is crucial for the initial rise and crust formation. Cover the Dutch oven with its lid and bake for 20 minutes. This initial baking period with the lid on traps steam inside, which is essential for the dough to expand fully and develop a beautiful, shiny crust. The steam keeps the surface of the dough moist, allowing it to stretch and rise without tearing. After 20 minutes, remove the lid and bake for an additional 20 minutes. This second phase of baking without the lid allows the crust to dry out and turn a deep golden brown. The exposure to dry heat at this stage is what gives the crust its characteristic crunch and color. The bread is ready when the crust is a deep golden brown and the internal temperature reaches 205 to 210 degrees Fahrenheit or 96 to 99 degrees Celsius. Using a thermometer ensures that the bread is baked through with a perfect crumb structure inside. The internal temperature is a reliable indicator that the bread is fully cooked and safe to eat. Remove the bread from the Dutch oven and let it cool completely on a wire rack before slicing. Cooling the bread is a crucial step that should not be rushed. As the bread cools, the steam inside redistributes, making the bread easier to slice and enhancing its flavor and texture. Slicing into hot bread can result in a gummy texture, so patience is key. Enjoy the fruits of your labor with a perfectly baked sourdough loaf, boasting a golden crust and a tender, flavorful crumb inside. Section 9. Troubleshooting and tips mastering sourdough. In this section, we will delve into some common issues you might encounter while baking sourdough and provide practical tips to overcome them. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced baker, these insights will help you perfect your sourdough technique. Room temperature fermentation. If your kitchen is warm, you may need to shorten the fermentation times. A warm environment accelerates the fermentation process, which can lead to overproofing if not monitored closely. Keep an eye on your dough and adjust the timing as needed. Ideal room temperature for fermentation is around 75 degrees Fahrenheit. But if your kitchen is warmer, consider reducing the fermentation time by an hour or two. Cold proofing. For a more flavorful loaf, consider extending the cold proof in the refrigerator for up to 24 hours. This slow fermentation process allows the dough to develop a deeper, more complex flavor. Cold proofing also makes the dough easier to handle and shape. Ensure your dough is well covered to prevent it from drying out in the fridge. You can experiment with different proofing times to find the perfect balance for your taste. Dough rise. If your dough isn't rising, your starter may not be active enough. An inactive starter can be a result of infrequent feedings or improper storage. To revive your starter, try feeding it more frequently with equal parts of flour and water. Make sure to keep it in a warm spot, ideally around 75 degrees Fahrenheit, to encourage activity. You should see bubbles and a noticeable rise within a few hours of feeding. Try feeding it more frequently. Regular feedings, at least once a day, can help maintain a healthy and active starter. If you're not baking often, you can store your starter in the refrigerator and feed it once a week. Before using it for baking, bring it to room temperature and feed it a couple of times to reactivate it. A well-maintained starter is key to achieving a good rise in your dough. Slow fermentation. If your dough is rising too slowly, your kitchen may be too cold. Fermentation slows down significantly in cooler temperatures, which can be frustrating. To speed up the process, try finding a warmer spot in your kitchen. You can also use a proofing box or a slightly warm oven to create a more suitable environment for your dough. Remember, patience is key, and sometimes a slow rise can result in a more flavorful loaf. Try finding a warmer spot for fermentation. Placing your dough near a window with sunlight or close to a warm oven can help maintain an optimal temperature for fermentation. If you have a proofing box, that can be an excellent tool to control the environment. Consistent temperature is crucial for a successful rise, so monitor the conditions and adjust as necessary. With practice and patience, you can master the art of sourdough bread baking. Each loaf you bake is a learning experience, and over time you'll develop a feel for the dough and the fermentation process. Don't be discouraged by initial setbacks. Even experienced bakers encounter challenges. Keep experimenting with different techniques and recipes to find what works best for you. Enjoy the process and the delicious results. Baking sourdough is not just about the end product, but also about the journey. The satisfaction of creating a beautiful, flavorful loaf from simple ingredients is unmatched. Share your creations with friends and family, and savor the fruits of your labor. Happy baking!